What if I told you a secret to helping your plants isn't at the garden center, but right in your kitchen pantry? You've seen it all over the internet, gardeners swearing by this cloudy, unassuming liquid. But can simple rice water, something used in some cultures for generations, really compare to the concentrated power of modern science? Stay tuned and watch as I put it to the test. Before we dive into the experiment, let's get to know our two competitors. In one corner, we have rice water. This is the starchy liquid left over after you rinse rice. For many of us, this is just waste that goes down the drain. The idea is simple. The water picks up beneficial substances from the rice. We're talking about starches, which can feed the helpful microbes in your soil, and trace amounts of minerals like potassium and magnesium. Think of it as a gentle, probiotic drink for your soil. It's not so much about feeding the plant directly, but about nurturing the soil to create a healthier ecosystem for the roots. And the best part? It's basically free. For this experiment, I'm just using the unfermented water from rinsing plain white rice. And in the other corner, the reigning champ chemical fertilizer. This is the go-to for many gardeners looking for fast, predictable results. You've seen the bags at every garden store, usually with 3 big numbers on the front. This is the NPK ratio. N is for nitrogen, for green, leafy growth. P is for phosphorus, for strong roots, flowers, and fruit. And K is for potassium, for the plant's overall health. The product I've chosen is a balanced, all-purpose 10-10-10 liquid fertilizer. It's a fast-acting formula designed to deliver a powerful punch of nutrients directly to the plant. It's like a high-energy protein shake designed for quick gains. The catch? It's focused on feeding the plant, not necessarily building the soil long-term. In fact, overuse can harm the delicate balance of microorganisms living in the soil. So there's our matchup. The gentle soil conditioning kitchen scrap versus the potent, fast-acting chemical concentrate. To make this a fair fight, we need to control the variables. That's the only way to know that any differences we see are actually from the food we're giving them. First, I picked my test subjects, 2 beautiful, healthy, and, most importantly, nearly identical young tomato plants. I chose tomatoes because they are heavy feeders, and their growth is easy to track. Next, I potted each one in an identical 5-gallon container using brand new potting mix from the same bag. This means both plants start with the exact same soil and baseline nutrients. No unfair advantages. Their environment is also controlled. Both pots are side by side on my patio, getting the exact same amount of sun, rain, and weather. Finally, the rules. Both plants will get the same amount of plain water on the same schedule. The only thing that will be different is their feeding. Plant A, our chemical contender, will get the 10-10-10 liquid fertilizer once a week, diluted just like the package says. This is a pretty standard schedule for a growing tomato plant. Plant B, our natural challenger, will be watered with the rice water I save from cooking, which is about 3 to 4 times a week. It will get this rice water instead of a normal watering until the soil is moist. I've marked each pot, taken my before pictures, and measured their starting heights. The 30-day experiment has officially begun. After the first 7 days, both plants looked great and were settling in. As expected, there wasn't a huge difference. But if I had to nitpick, Plant A, the one on chemical fertilizer, seemed a little bit perkier. Its leaves were a slightly deeper shade of green, which is a classic sign of a quick nitrogen boost that fast-acting fertilizers provide. Plant B, the rice water plant, looked perfectly healthy, just without that sudden burst of deep color. No real height difference to speak of yet. The race was just getting started. By the end of the second week, a clear difference was emerging. Plant A was now visibly taller and pushing out new leaves at a faster clip. The chemical fertilizer was definitely delivering on its promise of rapid growth. It was exactly what you'd expect to see. Plant B was also growing, just not as quickly. It was a bit shorter, but it looked really sturdy. Its leaves seemed broad and it was starting to look bushier. It seems the rice water was encouraging a different kind of growth, not just straight up, but strong and steady. This is where I expected a big twist, but reality is often more nuanced. Plant A, our chemical-fed friend, was still the undisputed champion of height. It was shooting for the sky. It looked like a classic fast-growing tomato plant, and I spotted the first tiny flower buds starting to form. Meanwhile, plant B was also developing its first flower buds, a great sign of health. While it was still shorter than plant A, its overall appearance was impressive. The leaves were a healthy, uniform green from top to bottom, and its frame looked dense and robust. The slow and steady approach was building a very solid-looking plant. So, we're at the end of the third week, and things are getting interesting. We have one plant shooting for the sky and another building a strong, sturdy base. Before we jump to the final reveal, I'm curious to know what you think. Which plant do you believe will be healthier in the long run? The fast-growing fertilizer plant or the steady rice water plant? Let me know your prediction in the comments below. And hey, if you're enjoying this little garden experiment, do me a favor and hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to the channel. It really helps the channel out. Okay, enough waiting. Let's see the final 30-day results. After 30 days, it was time for the final side-by-side comparison. And honestly, the results weren't about a shocking winner, but more about a surprising difference in growth styles. So, first, let's look at plant A, which was fed with the chemical fertilizer. It was, without a doubt, the bigger plant. It was taller, and had more flower buds that were just a bit more developed. It absolutely delivered on the promise of fast, vigorous growth. If your goal is to get the biggest plant in the shortest amount of time, chemical fertilizer gives you that result. The plant looked a little leggy, meaning it put a lot of energy into getting tall, but it was clearly on the fast track to producing tomatoes. And then we have plant B, the humble rice water plant. The visual difference was, honestly fascinating. It was shorter, but it looked incredibly robust and compact. The stem was thick, the branching was dense, and the leaves were a beautiful, consistent green. It looked like a plant that had built a really strong foundation. While it had slightly fewer flower buds than plant A, it didn't look weak at all. Side by side, one plant was built for speed, the other for resilience. The rice water didn't create a bigger plant in 30 days, but it cultivated a plant that was undeniably healthy and strong from the ground up. So, what's really going on here? Why did these two plants grow so differently? It all comes down to feeding the plant versus feeding the soil. The chemical fertilizer is like a direct shot of energy. It delivers high concentrations of the main nutrients, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, right to the plant's roots. The plant has no choice but to absorb them, which forces that rapid growth we saw. This is highly effective for getting quick results. However, it doesn't do much to improve the soil itself. Over the long term, and with improper use, a sole reliance on chemical fertilizers can degrade soil health by harming the microbial life that creates a truly sustainable ecosystem. Rice water, on the other hand, is a much gentler approach. It provides only trace amounts of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, so it isn't a direct replacement for fertilizer. Its main benefit comes from the starches and micronutrients that feed the beneficial bacteria and fungi in the soil. These microbes, in turn, improve the soil structure and help make nutrients more available to the plant over time. Essentially, you're not just giving the plant a meal, you're helping to build a healthy, living soil that supports the plant for the long haul. This is why plant B's growth was slower but appeared more robust. It was building its foundation. The science suggests that for heavy-feeding plants like tomatoes, rice water alone likely isn't enough for maximum production, but it's an amazing supplement for building healthier soil. So, what does this mean for your garden? If you found this experiment interesting, give this video a thumbs up. And I really want to hear from you. Have you tried using rice water? What's your go-to method for building healthy soil? Drop a comment below. If you want to see more gardening experiments and learn simple, sustainable ways to help your garden thrive, make sure you subscribe to the channel. So what's the verdict in our plant food showdown? Well, it's not about a single winner. The 30-day challenge showed that the best method really depends on your goals. The bottle from the garden store offers a fast track to bigger plants. But the free, cloudy water from your kitchen can be a fantastic tool for building the long-term health and resilience of your soil. By using rice water as a supplement, you're reducing waste, saving money, and investing in a garden that doesn't just grow, but truly thrives from the ground up.